Zord Rider, Transformers reviews and toy related chat. Zord Rider, Zord Rider.
Evening everyone, it's Zord Rider here, and I thought I'd do my top 10 Transformers of 2017. Now, I know there's been some different versions of this going around, and I'm going to let you know the rules of this particular video. So this video is only official Transformers products. There's no third party, there's no knockoffs. It can include figures that were released before this year, but I have to have purchased them in this year, if that makes sense. So I'm going to start off with some of the surprises of the year that didn't actually quite make the top 10 list. In no particular order here. Thomas Return Seaspray. This guy come out of nowhere, really. I wasn't expecting to have a Generations version of Seaspray looking so plump and G1 accurate. I picked him up not so long ago, actually. He was one of these figures that I was managed to pick off the shelves in the UK, which is becoming a little bit of a rarity lately. But I absolutely love this toy. I think it's fun, it's simple, and you can flip backwards and forwards really simply, which is what a Transformer should be able to do, in my opinion. And of course, you can take his fat belly off if you want to make him lose a little bit of weight. Really cool figure. I also want to call out Shuffler. I've got a fair few of these little things now, and Shuffler is the guy that has given me the most fun out of all these Titan Masters. And finally, the most surprising figure I picked up this year was Titan's Return Windblade. I picked her up cheap from Adam on Twitter, and I had no intention of really buying her until she was a little bit cheaper, but I think he sold me her for about 17 quid. And the detail on her is stunning, the face is brilliant. I love these swords. I'm shocked that we didn't get these reused in another figure. So yeah, she's the most surprising figure I probably picked up this year. So a couple of disappointing figures that I've picked up. One of these was from early on in the year, and one of them is actually the last Transformer I picked up this year. So first of all, it's the movie edition Soundwave. I heard a lot of good things about this figure. I hate it, to be honest with you. I don't like the face sculpt. I'm really annoyed that my paintwork was scratched straight out of the box. If I could go back and convince myself not to buy it, I wouldn't have done. So yeah, he was a massive disappointment. And Titans Return 6-shot. It looks amazing, absolutely amazing standing still. But as soon as you start to play with a thing, the shoulders, I mean, mine aren't too bad, but they're still pretty loose. The knees have really funny joints, and he can't hold a pose. Yeah, just really, really disappointed with him. Also, Red Alert, terrible. Compared to Sideswipe, there's mould degradation. The first one I had his hand sheared off in the box. Feels cheap, absolutely not worth the money. Into my favourite top 10. Now, these might not be the best toys, but they're the ones that left me feeling the fuzziest and the happiest and the most content, if that makes a bit of sense. They might not have the best detail, they might not have the best articulation, they might be really dated, but in my opinion, these are the best toys that I picked up this year that made me the happiest. So in at number 10, and I know this might be a little bit controversial, is Power of the Prime Swoop. Now, this isn't necessarily because of the quality of the figure. The plastic quality is a little bit thinner than what we normally expect. But for those of you that know me, I've been looking for a Swoop since I was about 5 years old. He's the only Dinobot I'm missing. He's my holy grail of Transformers, G1 Swoop. And the only Swoop I had in my collection before this guy came out was the animated one, which was fine, but very stylised. So for me, to finally get my hands on a Generation 1 looking Swoop, that's why it made into the top 10. In 9th place, Flash. There's a couple of reasons why this guy made it on there. Been looking for him for years and years, but didn't want to pay the £25–30 asking price for one with a few missiles missing. And I've always had an alert on eBay just in case one of these guys were listed. And lo and behold, one of them popped up, and I managed to pick him up for £5. Complete, which is stunning, really. And he's simple, and yes, his articulation's pretty rubbish. But I sat there and I flipped this guy backwards and forth over and over again, and he reminded me about when things were easier and simpler when you were a little bit of a kid. And I always remember going and buying Boss. I picked Boss over this guy. So to finally have him in my collection made me feel really happy. So Flash is at number 9. So at number 8 is Noor. I could have picked the Hasbro version, which I've got up there, but I did pick up a Takara version quite recently, which is nice, a little bit more cartoon accurate, some really nice paint on it. It's a Sharkticon. It's the first Sharkticon we've had in over 30 years that looks exactly like it does in the movie. And that pulled them on the nostalgic heartstrings, it really did. And for the price point, amazing little toy. It's got its faults, don't get me wrong, but number 8 is Noor. So at number 7, I've cheated a little bit. There are 2 bots here, but you'll see why when I announce them. It is Top Spin and Twin Twist Titans Return Deluxes. I couldn't choose between the 2. Both of them are amazing, amazing figures and are so similar. And let's face it, these 2 guys come as a pair always anyway. It's crazy to think that we had these little jump starter figures. Again, we haven't had an accurate version of these in a long, long time. And these are some of the best in the Titans Return line. They're stocky, they're big deluxes, and I absolutely love them. So at number 7, Top Spin and Twin Twist. So at number 6, a late entry, one that a good friend picked me up. Action Master Shockwave, with of course his little robot tank dude. I always remember seeing this guy for, I think it was about £3 when I was little, and I passed on him. I didn't have him, I had something else instead. Wasn't Transformer rated, I think I had a G.I. Joe figure. And then a few years later at TFN, or was it the last day? I can't remember. But Tony Thrussell beat me to him on the Toy Foo store. And this is the first Action Master I've added to my collection since I was a child, and it's amazing. So much nostalgia attached to this. So many, look at that wonderful orange colour. I absolutely love him. So Action Master Shockwave is at number 6. So I've cheated again at number 5, and again you'll see why. It's Titans Return, Misfire, and Slugslinger. They are mould mates. They are very similar. Very similar to Trigger Happy, but of course I got Trigger Happy. I think it was last year. I'm sure it was last year. So this is why I couldn't separate them. They're very similar figures. They show exactly how retool should be done, and they're amazing. Amazing toys, amazing figures. So happy I got this guy, even though I did pay 30 quid for him. And brilliant, absolutely brilliant toy. So at number 5, it's Misfire and Slugslinger. So at number 4, and I've actually just sat there and tried to work out whether I did buy him this year, and I did. I know it would have been a bit close, but it was in the same wave as one of the other figures earlier on in the line. So I've got all these figures lined up here, and I've just had a little bit of a panic thinking, is the figure at number 4 even a figure I bought this year? But I've just gone away and checked, and it is a figure I bought this year. So at number 4, it's Titans Return Cup. The reason why I'm picking this guy is the transformation is absolutely phenomenal. How these legs work is brilliant. Yes, some people say that theirs is a little bit loose. Mine's fractionally loose, but not too bad. I've had a lot of worse figures than this for build quality wise. I know there's a Takara version which I really, really want, but nevertheless, this guy is so much fun and such a great figure. So number 4, Titans Return Cup. So in at number 3 is my most expensive Transformers purchase I've ever made. And it is MP36 Masterpiece Megatron 2.0. Flawless robot mode, mounds and mounds of accessories, great posability, probably one of the best looking figures I have on the shelf. Why didn't he make top spot? Because I'm never going to transform him, and I'm never going to attempt to, and I don't even want to. It's too complex for me. To me, part of a transformer should be flipping backwards and forwards quite simply and easily, and I get that we sacrifice some of that for great robot modes, but Titan's Return have proved that it can be done relatively well with compromises. This is a masterpiece figure and is phenomenal, and if you don't own one, then I highly recommend it. But to me, because of that complex transformation, that's why it's not at the number one spot. But don't get me wrong, it's still an amazing, amazing toy. And yeah, amazing. This guy was so close to being number one. And when you see it, you'll think, what the hell are you doing picking this bot to be number 2 on your top 10 list? Quick mix. I got this guy just before I moved house, and he was in a real bad way. Really dirty. Stickers were in really bad condition. And I took him apart and I cleaned him up, and for a while he was the only robot I had to play with when I moved house. And I got his other weapon. I got some repro labels. I cleaned him up. I fixed some of his mechanisms. And I had such a good time with him. Such a good time. And to me, that's why he's at number 2. He brought back all the memories of what a Transformer should be. It's fun, easy to flip backwards and forwards. This is all of course, in my opinion. Simple and just fun. And that's why Quick Mix is number 2. So at number 1 is a figure that, in an entire line of complete rubbish, was a shining light. And again, he was one of these figures that I had when I was moving house, and I was able to play with him lots and give him some real love and attention without the distraction of the rest of my collection. It's the Last Knight Voyager class Megatron. Stunning figure, feels great. Yes, it's got some fault to the arms here, the horns don't close up, all of that stuff. Transformation is fun and simple, and the head sculpt is phenomenal. And he has no right to exist in that line. If we look at some of the other figures, Hound's okay, Hot Rod's okay, Skullatron has some great moulded stuff, but the build quality's rubbish. Bumblebee's a pants, Barricades not the best. This guy had no right to exist. This guy just proved exactly what Hasbro can do with a movie line. And it's not only the toy, it's his design as well. His design is phenomenal. So yeah, at number 1, it's the Last Knight Megatron. And that's my top 10 of 2017 of my official products. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do another video with my top 5 third party and my top 5 knockoffs. And then what I'll do at the end of that is also maybe throw in there a top 5 of my other figures that I've purchased that are non-Transformer related. Because I have bought some this year. So I think I'll do another video around those lines. So you're going to get top 5 third party, top 5 knockoffs, and top 5 other toy lines that I've been collecting. But other than that, I hope you've enjoyed this little video. I hope you have an amazing new year. I hope we get some more fantastic toys next year. I know that I've been slightly more negative towards Transformers of late, and that's a number of reasons why. It's real world getting in the way, it's real world pressures, it's job changes, house changes, having a child that's taking a lot of my time, and also maybe me as a collector's changing, but I'm still in. I'm not walking away from this hobby anytime soon. I might slow down a little bit on the purchases. I've got a few knockoffs on the way. I've got some more Power of the Primes on the way. And you know what? I've heard a lot of bad things about Power of the Primes, but it's not that bad. It's not Time's Return, but it's not that bad. So, yeah, I'm optimistic about next year, and I think you all should be too. So anyway, I've been Zort Rider. Have a very happy new year, and I'll speak to you again soon.